Yeah. Use that as a recording for us anyway, so,
Right, yeah, no, that was helpful.
yep.
'Cause I-
And then I'll just upload it to YouTube again.
my minutes, my dad wrote the minutes. Mary was on it, so it's-
So is Mike gonna email Tanya and let her know?
told that, I did tell him to do that.
Okay, because they're meeting tomorrow. They might as well just take it up. Okay.
Right, yeah, I did tell him that. So, all right, welcome to the, August 16th. Sandy Crystal on the chair.
Bob Ball.
Still on-
And this is Wendy Waskin on Zoom.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. I need to put your name tag closer, so it's a.
Okay.
So the first item on the agenda is Eversource, after the fact, what was CUP? Oh, okay, that'd be great, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me this evening. It's nice to see you in person again.
Yes.
Because I've been to a couple meetings now for different Eversource projects, but I'll introduce myself again. I'm Lindsay White. I work for GCA, Environmental. I'm here tonight on Eversource for this application. That was filed in support of emergency pole replacement work. The pole that was replaced is utility pole for 63. It's located on the south side of South Bow Road. This was identified as needing emergency replacement due to structural safety concerns. When Eversource did their routine inspections of the lines, they found that there was a rotted cross arm on the pole. And actually, it's quite a photo. They got to take a photo of the pole being replaced. That's what it looked like, and that was causing some structural integrity concerns of the line of that pole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I reached out at the end of April to the town, and Sandy and I spoke on May 3rd. And we talked about how Eversource was going to get to this pole. They had a couple different options they were looking into to get to it immediately. The first option is the one that we see on the plans, and that was to use an already existing access route, one that we used before for fire maintenance work. The only downfall of using this was that it meant that we needed to cross wetland BW 42. And the other option was to come in off the west side, so the other side of the right of way, and utilize entirely upland areas. But as we talked about, that would have resulted in huge service to the upland. And so Eversource on the town's input, and it was recommended that we use the already existing access route and file an application for the access. So with that plan, we submitted a statutory permit by notification through utility maintenance for the temporary wetland impact work on May 10th. It was approved on May 11th by DES. And that was done under SPN number 2020-0312. 03192.
Was it 2021?
It was 2020 because when we submitted for a separate maintenance project, it was the end of December, and they just threw that into the 2021 number.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so end of December is actually the expiration date for a lot of the 2021 SPN permits.
Okay.
So you're talking about 43 or 42? It's 40.
Sorry, FBW 42.
43.
43, yes.
Yeah.
That's another whole thing too, I was-
Yeah.
Yes, BW 43. And so the work required about 991 square feet of temporary wetland impact, and about 2,130 square feet of wetland buffer impact. GZA was able to get out to the site on May 21st to photo document the work progress. And that was when timber matting was installed and erosion controls were installed, they did scour wattle at the barrier between the wetland and upland areas. And that was right before the actual pole was placed. And then we went back out on July 6th to further document the wetland after timber matting was removed and the buffer area was mulched. And formally GCA submitted a after-fact CUP on July 19th. During construction, as routine with other main projects, timber matting was used as a routine practice across the wetland. You can see that photo log. And like I mentioned, straw wattle was installed on the barriers between the upland and wetland portions. And once work was complete, we only crossed the one wetland, so to go back from there and the whole part of the buffer area. That. So quick in and out for the project. No.
I know they rushed some of that with aggregate in some places. But not here, but other places. You can, some of the access down through the right of way
Yeah.
still has aggregate.
Yeah, so what Eversource has been moving towards is weaving into upland areas, leaving stone, gravel access roads for maintenance and for future projects, which is why some already built up ready to use. Most of their typical, where they typically reduce the work pad size to around 30 by 60, so we can do maintenance for future work.
So that aggregate, every place there is in a wetland, you can put an aggregate in.
They have, that has been what they've been moving towards. And we do file when we meet the threshold for operation of rain.
But, I guess you mentioned it's in the wetland, it's the timber mat.
Yes, yes.
So it's a timber.
I believe it was photo 7 on here. You can see a photo between photo 3 and photo 7, you see the same basically point of view. We have a timber matting and then it's in photo 7. Very, you all know, very wet summer, spring of the summer, so.
Well, and the spring was dry, I mean, probably in May,
Yeah,
it was like a late summer.
and then we were
And
getting.
then it went back to like a spring situation.
Yeah, and so it looks, there's some water accumulated in the wetland, but it was, flooded it right after we have the matting.
Right.
I guess I asked this question last night. How will they know where to mow and not mow in the work?
I know that they do routine mowing in the right of way during, I want to say about a 3-year cycle for mowing. And we do file, so that was why that utility SPN was actually filed in December. They do the whole vegetation maintenance SPNs at the beginning of the year. And so that's also comes under SPN. So they're able to do the routine vegetation maintenance in the right of way.
Okay. But are there markers so that whoever knows it knows where BW43 is, not know it? How does that work?
So we haven't, that's really handled internally at Eversource, so I'm not sure. We mark the wetlands before any construction happens. I can reach out to Eversource to ask them if you like what their typical routine is for the vegetation maintenance.
That this whole thing to me is critical. That early successional stuff that comes in there. You know, there's a lot of wildlife goes
Yeah.
through here, so it's so important. I mean, I think how they mow it and maintain it.
Yes, I do know I want to say they do, not road control, but, some sort of, I don't think it's sort of Eversource service thing, but, I know that they have protective measures because of wetland mowing maintenance. But I'm not entirely sure what those are.
We can also, I'm sure. Well, I guess well, maybe, I can't remember whether you guys, or whether Eversource submits their, annual station maintenance to DPS.
I don't remember. this.
Yeah, I know.
They did, so that was the December one, that might have the December 2020 SPN number, they keep the same number for the entire year.
Right, but I'll have to see whether he.
There would have, yeah, there should have been an estimate submitted to the town as
Right,
the required
right.
copy. BJ actually does them, so, I can look back.
There's a lot of critical pollination stuff.
Yes,
Pollinators.
yeah, they do try to span it out as long as they can, for the motorcycles.
If I want to make a motion. All those in favor?
Sandy, because we have
Oh,
Wendy,
Wendy,
yes.
I'm sorry.
It has to be a roll call. Because we have a virtual.
I,
I don't
right,
know.
but I can't
Yes.
vote, right?
Yeah, she's still a member. She hasn't been
Well,
voted.
you're a member till you're voted out tomorrow.
Yeah,
By the select board.
but it has to be a roll call for some reason because somebody's participating virtually, so we still have to
Right.
keep doing this whole thing.
Right.
so. Um,
Well, I'm not
So
sure.
what are you saying?
Well, we made a motion to approve the after the fact wetland CUP. I mean, you can either weigh in on it or you can abstain, that's up to you.
I'll probably abstain for this one.
Thank you. Okay. We'll send our comments to the planning board and. we'll see them in the future. Right. Thank you.
All of those people or take them.
I can do that.
Oh, hold on. Thank you. I go out there and take a look.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's okay.
Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. Okay, the next one is Dr. Russo.
My name is Tim Perlman. I have some updated plans from what we saw in the sidewalk. Look at it. Stay.
Sure, I'll just do one. Sorry, Wendy. I need to-
Is that the one?
No, this is, well, this is a newer
It's been
one.
updated. Right, really the only difference, this one plan, they have the plantings.
Plantings, okay.
And I have the 50-foot buffer.
I guess if you want to put up the one.
The one
was-
that we have updated one?
Yeah, so this is at 32 Sterling Place and also in 16 Sterling Place. The wetland fraction is actually on lot at 16, and the buffer infringement is on 32 Sterling. So this, there was a lot line staked, which is how we get the fill over the lot. Nobody recognized that this field was a wetland. So we've got the wetlands been located and flagged. Proposal is to restore the wetland and restore the buffer. We're gonna remove the fill till we get to the original ground. Because most, what they did was just fill over the ground upstairs, so. Remove the fill. And then some trees were cut in the buffer. to make room for the access road. So we're gonna replant that buffer with shrubs. And they're all native shrubs to New Hampshire renewable.
How many square feet you want to mention that?
The wetland impact was 1,220 square feet. The buffer is 2,745 square feet. And in a nutshell, we're gonna restore it as close back to normal as we can get it. And Rob tells me the garage is being a little further away than what's shown here. I think we did that in the last couple of days.
Oh,
We went from the 51-foot, 52 mark to, on the front, we went close to 60 now, and the rear, we're back about 55.
So with that, answer any questions you might have.
so Wendy, just for your information, the plants that are proposed are gray dogwood, red osier dogwood, high bush blueberry, and maple leaf viburnum.
Okay, thanks.
So the driveway was still in.
Yeah, the driveway is going back to its original location. Where it's been all
That was done a long time ago.
85 or so.
And then from what I read earlier, you're going to use the like the wetland seed mix
In the
as well,
wetland area,
in the
yes.
wetland area.
I have that in the construction sequence notes. Number 3.
Oh, right. So I see you have the inspection after the first growing season and then inspection after the second growing season.
Right.
Any questions?
Where does the dirt go?
I'm gonna bring it over to the south side of the property. On the other side of the house.
Over here somewhere?
Yes. It's a little bit over there.
I don't know what area.
Now they're getting involved. There. Yeah, I guess, after seeing the site, I kind of scratched my head on how, you appropriately noted about the invasive species not allowed to remain, but that whole bank there is
Yeah.
is purple rooster.
Yeah, I know. So I kind of suspect that purple wood strike is there is because that was disturbed wetland from years ago or something.
Mhm.
Not sure where that note came from on the prime wetlands map.
Oh, right, yeah, I didn't get to look on that.
Yeah, but I mean, clearly, when I walk even further up in here, it's all been disturbed at one time.
Right. Huh,
I don't know if it was a logging operation. or-
right.
I was going back to the historical areas,
Mhm.
trying to see if I could figure out when that happened. And Sometime in the sixties, they did, you know, clearing it a lot bigger.
Mhm.
This was, you know, our field for quite a while.
Right.
It looked like there was a section back there that was bigger. Probably just before we put Sterling Place.
Mhm. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Wendy, any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I haven't been to the site, so.
Right, right, yeah. Does anybody want to make a motion?
See the question, there's two things, right? CUP and then there's response to the wetland violation. Do we have to do anything for that?
No, it's, apparently, I guess I was self-reported,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I sent the notice. in.
right.
Yes.
So we don't have to do anything with that.
No,
I'll send them a copy of this form. Notes. Get you ready.
Mhm, yeah,
Otherwise, I'll get it to them before the planning board meeting. See if they'll get back in that quick or not. I'll send it.
mhm.
Make a motion to recommend approval. Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Sandy, aye.
MD,
Wendy?
Wendy abstain.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
good, thank you.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, if I could.
Can I have one? I think it's small enough to use.
I want to make sure this excavated.
Well, the other thing is, you know, is just putting visible markings where.
Yeah, we
where
have
some
them.
stuff.
You know, the irony of this is that if we had known the right property stakes in the beginning,
Right.
right, we never would have put that alternate road in to get around. I would have moved all my vehicles out of the garage, put them in the front, and rushed through the foundations and put the road back. So it never would have happened. But those stakes were so far off. That's why I hired 2 surveyors, because we didn't believe the first guy, we didn't believe he'd be so far off. So I hired the original people. And when they came back, they couldn't believe their own stakes either. You know, I have a theory about this. When there are 2 ways to do surveys. One is that you can dial on the GPS up to where they're supposed to be, and they locate a corner and they go from there. The other way is the way the first guy did it. He doesn't use GPS because you can put that wrong GPS number and everything is on.
Right.
So I think everything kind of shifted because on the other side of my property, that guy encroached on my property by over 25 feet. So there's this whole shift that went on the property. So somebody along the lines of this, so, anyway, I just want to apologize. Believe me, I mean, it caused me a lot of grief to do this. We'll make it just the way the plan says. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
I think the reports in the packet
Right,
for July. And I think I did that on the 7th. I guess just a couple things to note, the phosphorus level that we were concerned about on the fire calling outlet has decreased. That was just what we saw in June. So it's back down. It wasn't 41 or something else, that was 22. So it dropped almost. So something happened in June, could have lifted it, but it went back down. I guess any other thing to comment on is the chloride level still high at the White Rock Road. It's up at 143, so it's still.
And it's looking, and it goes up from 95 at the Garter House Pond
Yeah.
outlet.
And then both center road, there's 102. So just downstream a little further. And then
Oh, that's that extra location?
that's the extra.
Ah,
So. And then down at the culvert itself. That's just a short distance. Something.
right.
The one B phosphorus level was a little bit high, 38 microliters. It spiked a little bit this month. That's Turbo 1B. The first entry there.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah,
thank you.
it's up to 38.
Right, yeah.
Which is high. They say 41 is the excessive. Yeah, let's get to review again on Tuesday. Chinese one. And we'll get over there and do this.
I didn't, well, I was on the pond yesterday. We didn't see like I didn't get to do a whole lot of the pond because it was initial look at a whole lot of the pond because it was initially really windy and I ended up pouring out a lot of fertilizers instead.
I went over one day and was chocolate.
Right. So I just I was near the shoreline and sort of added the main regular wind, and so it wasn't too bad. I didn't go around the whole time. But I didn't really see anything in where I went around the southeast side of the pond. And actually, there was also nothing pushed up at that eastern edge, which usually, the pieces, so I didn't see pieces there.
Yeah.
I know his Ben Jones had contacted me to see if, we needed anything. I'll have to go out
Yeah,
and check it out, really, the back or the other
yeah,
corner.
the other end there.
Right,
Now, they normally come back and do another assessment.
they do another assessment. And they did it the last time, I don't know whether they did it in October or the report came out in October. One of the promises they, sure, I don't know what it was, because there was, they saw some in a little corner and it was buried in the report, and of course, the volunteer was bad.
If you go there on a really choppy day, the lighting, it's on the sea.
It's right, that too. Absolutely. I did also put in the packet, I had asked Garrett about the boat ramp, like the refurbishment, he said it's in the top 5. But because of the severe lateral movement, the severe lateral movement. the boat access program is low on funding now. Because they're completing a major new ramp in Alton. So they're not sure when they're gonna be able to undertake construction, so I'm not sure when. I actually would like to touch base with, both on the pond and just put that on the radar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I did mention it to Garrett, but,
His email almost sounds like just don't do the ramp. The concrete ramp.
yeah, well, they, yeah, I'll have to, check into that.
They put some really nice stuff. In the places.
Well, I wonder, is it Fish and Game that's done it, or is it been, some other effort?
Well, it's fishing game grant, you know, whether they got additional funding. somewhere, I don't know.
Okay,
But
what, do you recall what ramps have used some of the other? The other thing that I was thinking
I got pictures.
of, okay,
I'll send you some pictures. Wow, this is nice. They've got a,
I don't know whether it's like a mesh, is it like a mesh?
it's a mesh, you know, mesh can you put down, it's a. And then,
And I think they keep the rocks from moving too, basically.
and then one of the ramps, and I have a picture of this too, there's a sign there about how they had redone the ramp. By putting layers of some kind of stone in,
Right.
they put a feet underneath it. So I'll see if I can find this picture.
Yeah, the other thing is that parking lot area gets a lot of abuse from younger people in the area. I'm sorry, I will say it's you that like will come in. In fact, my husband, when I was down there, I told my husband, I said, why don't you come down and just put your chair out there? And it's like very few people there at the time with me at all. And it was just really gorgeous out. So we came down and it's like, oh yeah, it seems like, you know, they pull in, they say, oh, other people are there. And instead of just like leaving quietly, they just like peel out. And I know that program for the, you know, parking lot access really suffers from that type of drive. So,
Fortunately, there are enough potholes here with pavement, 2 meters of pavement. You have to slow down to get in.
oh, at that end,
But
right,
then,
the farther
Maybe
down.
we need to put more potholes.
That's right. The other thing I want to mention is when I was down there yesterday, I looked at the kiosk and I went, oh, our new app report is not up there. And I was like, but everything looks really fixed up. And sure enough, there's a new boat access facilities supervisor, manager, who they have removed things that didn't realize that, you know, we had permission to have on there. So I, when I got back to Garrett and told him that, I said, you know, thank you for the information. By the way, I'm going to question because I noticed that, you know, stuff is missing. Yeah, we need field supervisor who's been sprucing up all our kiosks. Like I said, I mean, in the past, when things were taken off the kiosk by unauthorized people, you know, the corner was left, all the staples were there, you know, you kind of knew that somebody had just kind of ripped it down. But this was, everything was cleaned up. I swear, of course, you know, you have like 8 signs that are all capital letters. But, so he said if he updated the kiosk, it's possible that it took down the DOT post by mistake. Our intent is to grant permissions and support conservation efforts and allow the prior permission of posting of vegetation information posters such as the view at the space and situations permit. He's out of the office till August 24th, but feel free to repost the view at post and move it after that. So. Yeah, things were just too neat. I looked at ones with this. That was the poster that Alvina laminated.
Oh,
That was a sign that got taken off the,
well, send it back to me. I'll laminate again.
okay.
Yeah, because I wouldn't remember which one.
Right,
Yeah.
sure, yeah, and there's a smaller one, the bathymetric one, I also thought would be. Okay.
Yeah, we can laminate
Yeah.
anything up to size 11 by
11 by
17.
17,
Yep.
yeah, that's what we did, so, okay. That's a story there. I did see what was cool is, I don't know, what freshwater sponges
Oh,
in the
no.
pond, yeah.
Oh, really?
They were cool. Some of them were, like, they attach themselves to like sticks and stuff. Well, some of them were attached to the, Phragmites
Oh.
base.
Oh.
But yeah,
Where were the apartment?
it was actually the part, toward the left, sort of where Village Shore Estates has that land at the bottom.
Yeah.
It was sort of, because that's where the Phragmites is. And so it was, in that area, yeah, so that was cool. I can send a photo out.
Yeah, okay.
So that was cool. The other thing, and Bob, I'll ask you, also as a fisherman, and Dick, I don't know, if you fish, what is the kind of courtesy or advice when fishermen get their line stuck places? I am always pulling out the fishing line from stuff near. I found 2 hooks and bobbers. In fact, I did a couple of bobbers.
We don't use both.
You don't use bobbers, yeah. Fly fishing doesn't use bobbers.
No, you're supposed to make every attempt to get it up. And sometimes you get stuck in the cake and all of it. But generally, it takes some time.
Yeah, I think people just don't. Yeah, there was one, in fact, I got a photo of it. It went up to a huge tree. So I just pulled on as much as I could. I had my Swiss Army knife. I cut it, but it had a bobber, it had a hook. I found a small hook, I found a big hook. Just
Sometimes you hook it while you're fishing. You hook it full of lures. Yeah, it happens.
yeah, I was just thinking about trying to how to remind people that they really need to make some effort to remove the stuff, because the hazard to people, it's a hazard to wildlife.
Yeah.
And stuff. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the website. And Dick, I saw you sent something.
Yeah, that's the link to the. It's a 2-page document on
I had trouble,
conservation officers.
I didn't get to,
Landowners, and the link is actually it's on the left hand page, but it's actually a society for the.
Protection New Hampshire Forest, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think I saved that document
okay.
before. So, okay. And Um, didn't print out a list of mine, all right, Bob, do you want to start? Did you provide the-
Right. Sure who the audience was who was writing. Well, I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Deciding
Yeah.
how you structure them. But I kind of took the viewpoint of, if I were new to Bo and I wanted to know what was here, what I could do relative to the environment, et cetera. What's available. That's how I kind of wrote about
Sure.
basically one of the ponds. A little bit about the pond size, how you get there. That map, we go back there again and then talk about what you can do there. And then talk about what the conservation commission. Just kind of those three things. Where is it? What can you do there? And our activities, why we're involved. That's kind of how I structured the writing. And then the bottom on the other one I do too. It's how somebody can get involved. What can you do? So I don't know if that fits the overall structure, how we're going to do the rest of the pages, but that's kind of what.
Sure.
It is a little wordy. Maybe it's too wordy, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or webpage. One thought I had on the links, I showed those there as links. A lot of websites I notice now actually don't put the links. What they'll do is they'll put a bold area there for you to copy out from Google.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, the advantage is you don't have to worry about the link. Google can adjust things. So that would be, if we don't want to actually put the links in on the web pages. Now, some of these would be internal pages, so those links should go there. But if it's an external page, you might want to consider doing that. So we
Yeah.
don't have the maintenance. of links.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but for some of these, we can make it actually like the link to the milfoil or something like that, or link to the treatment plan. Those could actually be links because we'll control.
Right. Yeah, I think some of these are high enough level links that,
We might
just check periodically.
Yeah.
Wendy, do you have any thoughts? I know, oh, Bob, did you send the thing on wildlife?
So, well, I sent you one, get involved,
Oh.
also on the back, and then I sent you the wildlife. Should have that.
Yeah, it's in the email. I'm having trouble even opening things on my computer here.
Get involved on the back.
What's that?
This, the other one. Get involved.
Right. Oh, yes, it's on the back of the short one. Yeah.
I thought that, I kind of like the approach that Bob's doing and being a little consistent on all the tabs that we're gonna have, I think is nice.
Yeah, I mean.
I wasn't, I think what he was saying about the Google thing, I don't necessarily agree with, because for some of our outside links, I think it's important to send people directly there, but I mean, anybody can open up a new tab and Google something, so I don't really understand how helpful that is. If you don't tell them specifically where to go.
But you're right, that's the downside. of it.
Yeah, I mean.
And then
Go ahead.
as far as the wildlife page goes, and maybe it's just me, but I know the species of concern that you listed as, the standard ones that come up when you do the, the inventory. But I don't know that, other than the eastern brook trout and the Blanding's turtle, I mean, the hognose snake and the black racer, I mean, I don't know if those are really gonna resonate with people. Maybe the Blanding's turtle, but there's a lot of other species that, maybe they're not these critical endangered ones, but they're important and they thrive in certain habitats in Bow. And I guess those would be the ones that I would focus on to highlight as.
Dick, do you have any thoughts or?
No, I, like what Tom said earlier, I do think that it's good to have the.
Right. Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I think with the wildlife, which we don't have here, I was able to pull it up on my phone, I couldn't. Oh, maybe I'll send it to you, Abby, if I have it on my phone.
It's like the Wi-Fi is dead.
Bob listed, I mean, it has a lot of,
Such a, talking about what are the common things you see if you go out, take a hike somewhere. Okay. And where you might find it. And I didn't put picture links into those. And then I thought the other message that probably should come out of that page is here are the ones we're concerned about. And, that are in trouble in terms of conservation. So I picked the ones that are on the list of being.
I actually made a picture of it, I don't know how much was right that I sent to you.
I think Wendy's suggestion was maybe that's not the right list to put there. People won't resonate with snakes, but they're important.
Right, well, I guess the thing is that, the other thing with wildlife, and I know, I wasn't able to work on my part of it, which is probably, critical with the natural resources of the NRI. But it would probably be good about saying, we have the wildlife we have because we have so much natural habitat. And so it's very important to keep that natural habitat and, kind of as a little introductory thing. And then, we can talk about, we also may want to maybe group some of the things by where they tend to hang out.
And we could mention those things on Bob's list, but maybe add to those habitats that we have in Bow and other things that people can see there and how, like Sandy said, how make that connection of how important that habitat is, because it's what provides a place for these certain species to live. And I think a lot of time there's a disconnect with people. They're, you know, especially on their own property when they're like clearing out things and they're only thinking about for one purpose and they're not thinking about the impacts that it might have on certain types of wildlife.
You know, I tried to emphasize that, you know, what I have the, what you could do at the bottom, and how you can help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But,
I guess. I think that's important too.
So, just so I understand, you would expand that first list there? You know,
I'm not sure, yeah. I guess I think some of it is almost kind of more kind of reformatting how it's presented. I think either kind of by habitat, yeah, I mean, we have mentioned habitat, but,
so we could have a list of our, some of the habitats and what kind of thing you might find. We could do that. But that will expand quite a bit of stuff.
right, but I would probably try to make it, a little less narrative and more bolded list. I mean, I know you did some of that here.
How about a table? Put it like a table.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking of a table, but, you have to think about people looking at it on their phones. And so you don't want to have something that's too wide if you do a table.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I was thinking of like bulleted lists, grouping them by that, and you could always put an E for endangered, and, you know, do things that way.
If we list everything, you know, how far
Yeah,
we go.
I wouldn't list everything.
I mean, I usually like mammals. Go beyond that. You know, this, that. I mean,
Right,
Where should we stop?
right. Well, and that's where the maybe listing a few things by habitat may work. I mean, you're not gonna cover everything.
I think it's a good point. I was trying to keep it simple for somebody, like I said, somebody who's both.
Yeah, no, I think
Not
that's a great perspective. I mean,
complicated.
also, you know, being on Turry Pond yesterday, somebody was talking to my husband and was saying, oh, I lived, you know, within 3 miles of here for X years, and this is the first time I went to this pond. You know,
Yeah.
and I know during COVID, there were, you know, some of my neighbors, and we have common land on the pond. And some people were out there also saying, you know, this pond is so different than all the other ponds, it's like a pond. It's
I
like,
don't know about that.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just because the bog, you know, it's not encircled by upland, and so you don't have houses around it.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
it just is
yes.
a much more wild
That part,
flavor.
yeah, that part of it is.
Right, yeah, so I think that's, I don't know, so I guess maybe think about, I'll have to see, like, if there are other, examples of things. I mean, we go looking and we find things that are worse than the terrain. Don't quite fit.
So I wrote down, I mean, if you did, make some connection with habitat. And then, multiple to list by habitat.
Right, yeah. And then if we, depending upon how we do like the conserved in town lands, if we list habitats, we could always have like a link from one page of wildlife go to, you know, the Notting Cook sentence that, or whatever that mentions the habitat found there or something. So within the website, we might be able to connect it.
I was thinking about something like that. It's complicated.
It does.
You know, if I take Notting Cook and I list all the habitat types, and then I list all the stuff in this habitat. that- I don't know if I know how to do that. I mean, that's gonna get really complicated.
Well, I just, yeah, I mean, I think the idea is not to be comprehensive, but just to take things that either, you know, we're concerned about it habitat wise, people, you know, seem to like, thrilled to see.
But if you do it by habitat types, then you can identify this habitat is in Notting Cook, it's in the Stone Forest, it's in, you know.
Right?
So you don't have to, instead of doing it by the properties and
Yeah.
everything, you know, and habitats underneath those, just have the habitat type and an example of this habitat type can be found in the list of, you know, the property.
So that, okay, that may be what we'd expect to see in that habitat. See a page on that. Maybe, we could do-
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start with the table to organize it, and then we can figure out how best to do it on the web page.
I don't know if is the web design such that it's made to be for mobile devices automatically?
It is, but it's not very friendly.
Yeah, what it does is it basically, I think it sort of cuts out some things, so it's all linear.
Yeah, it's all,
So
you just have to scroll
you have to
down, yeah.
scroll to get there. But if we're using that middle, real estate, as you call it, you know, that would be continuous. But if you do something too wide, you can get too squished that people won't be able to read it.
With the format like on all the pages, and you have a picture, right, it's on everything. And you get a little chunk of the side.
It's the contact. So there are 3 columns we can utilize. So the contact one, I think it populates throughout the rest of the pages. And then the tabs too. So yeah, we do have the one, let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. So technically, this middle part is the real estate that Sandy's talking about, that wider.
And if you go to one of the tabs, like, well, actually, if you look at,
Well, actually, yeah, see, some of them don't populate. So it depends. Let me go
or go
back.
to the, go to like tree pond, although that's different because that actually is quite a bit of stuff. around.
So in this case, this contact us doesn't really go through. So we have, on the tabs themselves, we have a little more room. But we can do the same here. We can split them in 2 columns too.
But we could have just one column.
On the tabs, I guess, yeah, because you don't see the
I mean,
content
tree
here.
pond, you end up,
And how does that show up on a mobile device?
well, I was just going to.
I think it's just all. It's not very convenient.
Biggest issue.
The menu is on the left and it's very small, so that's where you have to kind of struggle. So
The
it,
tree pond actually, it wraps the text so that it makes a longer paragraph that's narrower. And then the, our little tabs within it, the invasive plants, mitigation, water quality monitoring, fish and game sample are actually vertical versus the bar across.
That's a pretty good job.
So it actually, on that page, it does really a pretty good job to make things readable. And I think in terms of amount of information, you probably don't want to, you could have a little bit more than we have there, but not a ton more.
Is it a design goal to have this work on mobile devices? I mean, is that the intent?
your guess is as good as mine.
I think we want to, for the things that we're doing, I think that we should consider how it would look on the mobile device. So many people just depend on.
So when you actually turn your phone sideways, it works like a website.
You
So
have more.
yep, the tabs go on the left. Yep, so you have a different view as opposed to,
When you're holding it vertically.
yep, so vertically, you just have to scroll, the tabs are on the bottom, so everything kind of goes into one column. But when you turn it sideways, it works as a tablet.
Well, I just went, probably depends whether you have Apple or Android too. But I guess the question is, what's the design requirement to be able to web develop?
We didn't give the web developer, it doesn't work that way. The web developer comes with what they have and they offer you what they have, and then they repopulate what they have with what you used to have. And then you work around it.
So what they gave you, they claim to work on mobile devices.
Well, this is
Well,
it.
they do, it does work, but the fact is, yes, you can read it, you can find the information, but the fact is, depending upon what you put on there, it may not be as user friendly as what we like, but our Torrey Pond page shows up really nicely. And so-
That's a very big company that provides services to many towns throughout the states. And that's how,
And it's.
They
you
kinda
know,
set
they're
the
trying to
rules.
meet, a lot of needs.
and they are developing, all the time. There's something new coming up all the time. It's just not very quick and not very easy.
So just understand, we can do cables. we
Yeah,
shouldn't
yeah,
do it.
Glenn
Try it.
set it up like a table
See how it works.
and we'll.
I think we can, let me show you. I think we have on our assessing page. There's a table. Sorry, my cursor is kind of weird because I have to see it on the TV. So I have to make it extra big. Somewhere in here. So that's a table of sorts. That's the
Right, well,
built-in
it's two-
table.
It's actually 2 columns.
Right, and so there's a way to make tables on the website, or we can just cut and paste. There's an editor widget, which is just for text, so I haven't tried posting a table in there, but I'm thinking it would be something not very complicated.
And what is this that you?
That's assessing.
Right,
That would be
we
on
already
just
said-
first assessing and just scroll down. Just go to government
Yeah,
and departments.
I'm on the page and I'm on the menu, so I didn't know.
It's the first page. You're assessing.
I mean, this is, it's 2 columns, basically wide. But they're also, they did it in all capital letters, which is not recommended anyway. So if we do things, you might be able to do things 3. Although it also doesn't have the vertical divider and stuff. Let's
Try, huh?
let's see what we can come up with and see whether that is something that would work. And I think that also gives me ideas about on NRI and natural resources part of things. Is that we can link the wildlife to the habitat. And the habitat's also within some of the conservation lands. And I'll take a shot at that. I was busy doing that grant update. Spending a lot of time on that.
How about to get involved? Is that okay?
No, I think that's good. I probably would like with open spaces, either give them the opportunity or to make a description, you know, kind of maintains trails and you know, in bow or, you know, manages some properties or, you know, so I think the open spaces, I would maybe say, okay, give us a sentence on it.
Okay.
On donate, I don't know whether I would kind of maybe make it into like two bullets. One is like donating land or an easement versus donating money, you know. And I'd probably, when talking about land donations or easement donations, talk about providing, you know, keeping the flavor of Bow for years to come, or, you know, some,
Okay.
you know, feel good kind of statement about donating land.
Yeah, some people describe it as legacy,
Legacy,
Create your
right,
legacy,
right, yeah,
an opportunity to create your legacy.
right, yeah, and things like that. And yeah, I'll work on the others that had my name on it, conserving town lands. The state and town permits or rule that things.
So just to clarify, do you want this text to go on the tab that we already have, right?
Which text that you?
So there's the Turry Pond,
um,
or do we want to wait until we have the final text?
You know,
Because I can create a tab that nobody can see but me, and then we can just work on it.
I think that would, go back.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can-
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, why don't you do?
Yeah, it won't be visible to the public because it'll be just a draft. And what we can do, you know, I can pull it up here from my account as a draft. We can work on it. Nobody will
Okay.
see it unless somebody's watching
Okay,
Zoom. so.
Yeah, I would do that with the Torrey Pond and then get involved. I would
Okay.
do a little bit on the
Okay,
Wildlife one.
I'll send you print screen, I guess. That's the only way for me to send you something, but and then we can work on whatever you decide later. But that actually gives me, you know, instead of just doing it all in ones,
Sure,
I can
yeah.
piecemeal get to
right,
it, yeah.
Sure, yeah, easier for you.
But it just won't be too much to do at once. So,
Right, right,
Yep.
oh, sure, yeah. And I guess the other thing that I want to mention is that, and I know it's the next item on the agenda is the BioBlitz that's scheduled for September, that's a statewide effort. I wanted to put information out there. I guess there are a couple of things. Do we want to, is there anything else on the website that we want to do right now? I mean, we may talk a little bit about it on the BioBlitz, but I just. Wendy, do you have any other comment or input?
No, no,
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, all right, thanks. All right, so, I'll talk about the BioBlitz. I did put in the packet, some language that I had, sent to Tanya, and then I think I, actually, modified it because, it wasn't gonna get into the bulletin wasn't gonna be done before the 10th and 12th when the webinars are being held, although the webinars were recorded, so, it's the longest step. Did I provide it? Was that in the packet?
I have a photo.
All right.
It looks like it's up there.
Oh, okay. All right, so, yeah, so that was sort of, thank you. What I had written up, kind of using some of the language from, UNH had some, press release type of thing, and, then I put in about the webinars, which I did attend one, which was good. And the webinar, they recorded them, so it is on their website. So I then provided an update to Tanya that doesn't mention the 10th and the 12th, but talks about the recorded webinar. And so it talks about the app. One of the things I think I mentioned is that the UNH website for the BioBlitz directs people to town lands, and the town lands, they direct to town lands as of the 2019 update of Granite. And then they also direct them to the Conservation Commission page. So I was kind of concerned about trying to make sure that we have something on there that would be helpful to people for the BioBlitz. I am going to do a map that shows the areas that basically by using iNaturalist, if you're within any of the areas that are identified as conservation lands, that data gets picked up. You know, associated with your town and the town forest.
So it automatically does that to.
It will automatically do that if you're using iNaturalist in those places. And this is, I did some screenshots of, you know, kind of their map is sort of like this, but it's, so I will do one that'll be easier that people can look at all in one fell swoop. The other thing is, it might be helpful, since not all these lands have trails on them. You know, some of these are like open space for subdivisions. I mean, there was also to some extent, you know, well, I guess I can include it, but I may kind of key some of them in on which ones are trails that are open to the public or that are, well, where's the park? So, so it's really kind of parking, kind of access. For these areas. I mean, obviously, some of these open space areas, if somebody lives in the area, it's like, oh, well, go take a walk on that spot or whatever. The other thing I had suggested to UNH, I didn't get to check the website to see, is that it would be good to, for those town lands that have like a kiosk, is to put up a sign that mentions the BioBlitz and maybe has a QR code for more information. So I think they were going to prepare something like that, but I didn't check to see whether it was on their website. I think that's about it on the BioBlitz. Does anybody have any questions? I mean, right now, I'm not thinking of necessarily any formal event for it. The month of September, the whole month of September.
Was it high school?
Right, I do need to email them. Actually, all the schools, some, the school forest is conservation land, but not school district property. So, other than the part of the boat ramp that has an easement on it, which is, I think, the north of the access road, there's an easement there. That's included, but other areas in that vicinity are not. So it's really,
They could still, I mean, do other areas.
they could, yeah. And they could still collect the information, just wouldn't count for if anybody wanted to petition or said, oh, there are like this many observations in this town. It wouldn't count. So I think that's where things stand with the BioBlitz. So I do want to get something on the website. Well, I guess if something gets into the bulletin, it shows up on the Conservation Commission page.
No,
Well, there was, when I had sent you the thing about the milfoil, that also, I'm trying to think, where also did it get posted? Or was it just
so
on
when
the-
you do it as a news flash, you know how we do the
Right.
drinking water, sometimes there's a drought information.
Right.
We can post it on the main page, on the home page, which
Right.
is the homepage highlight. And that same news flash gets copied onto the Conservation Commission page. But
Okay,
that's, the bulletin is different because the way it's formatted is just one.
Right.
And then you get the notice about the bulletin on the front page. And that's how it's sort of like a news flash, which advertises that, you know, this has been posted, and then you click on it and you open up the whole bulletin for all the departments.
right. So I guess,
So we can make a news flash item
of the bio.
and split it in two and post it on both pages.
Okay, all right.
Just give me the text, and if you want a picture and the dates for it to run.
Right.
And I'll drop it on both pages.
Okay.
After this text, or?
I will take a look at, well, I'll look at the revised text that I gave, Tanya, because after this, I changed to not the 3rd or the 10th or the 12th.
And it usually has a short lead, you know, and then we can do the text as an attachment, like a flyer.
Okay. All right, good, thank you. Yeah. got it. News flash. Okay, NRI update, I have not heard anything from Jeff. I did send him an email, I guess like July 16th after our rest meeting clarifying the things that either went off the page or whatever. And I did send him an email again, well, it was yesterday, to just say, you know, so you will not know about progress.
We still don't have the fall sessions.
I am not gonna schedule anything until I have some idea that it's gonna be done, but I already it said that, you know, we wanna schedule something, whatever.
Hope they may not do it again.
Yeah, do things in person. Oh, the other thing I need to, and Alvina, do you know, does the community development department have like an account with somebody to print large maps?
Well, we print ours with our, what are they called? AI.
Oh, CAI
Yeah.
prints them?
Well, our assessor sends the information to them and then they give us the annual set once a year.
Right.
So
but
it's
for
not
any
like-
other things you don't.
No, I think it's just for tax maps.
protect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything else I mean, our plotter is pretty bad and it doesn't print anything bigger than the one behind you. No, not that one, the one right behind you, which is, yep, that one.
Yes, right.
right.
Yeah.
So, but
Okay.
then, yeah, the only thing we can do is go print it over at the FedEx office.
And where?
The FedEx,
Oh, FedEx.
yeah, right over on,
Yeah, I'll have to,
but that would be something, we just go, we print, and then we pay
right.
per
right,
page.
right. Okay. I also didn't know whether, regional planning would do stuff like that. I can also-
No, we, if we have a right to know request that has, you know, asks for copies, we go there.
For big maps.
Yeah, and we just have, we bill the, whoever's
Right.
the
right.
customer, we just have,
Right.
you know, provide them with a receipt and they reimburse us for the copies.
Okay, all right, I will check because our maps are supposed to be final that we have. And the arrangement was that we would print the big versions. You guys are going to give us big versions. So I may follow up on getting the maps copied so that we can, you know, we can start. And then I can-
They should be. Set, just
Right, right,
just the
right,
text issue.
right, exactly.
Yeah, it seems really drug out.
Yeah. Right, the next item is the Upper Merrimack River Local Advisory Commission. We got an invoice from them for $150 for the year for their kind of support and representation of the
Make a motion to approve the expenditure. Aye.
Wendy, do you have any input on the Upper Merrimack River paying the $150 invoice?
No, I support that. I will, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So is Michael staying on the,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And now I see that the Wild Woods was on the back. of the
Yeah, I
invoice.
know.
Couldn't find it, it's by the invoice. Robinson Road Trail, I just wanted to mention, I did, after we kind of said that we, would support anything that did create additional impacts and stuff. I did speak with Harry Hathaway and Eric, and we talked about it. I think they're okay. I think it's just trying to figure out what we're gonna do and what needs to be done and get a wetlands remediation done, and I will contact the person I know about at the Trails Bureau, and also I think meeting with someone at DES about what might be allowed, and talk about providing photos, which I have of, kind of how that's and stuff in the location. So I told Harry and Eric that I would follow up with GPS on that and stuff. So, but I know that we need to address it, and it doesn't make sense to reroute it. It's no real point.
That's really what I'm in. After all the rain.
Well, I was there about, it's like 4 inches of water.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, a long length of
it
4
is, it's kind of a highway. Was that there's I don't know, 50, 60 feet of water, and then there's. a
Oh, and
section,
then it's
and
higher.
it's okay, and then
Right.
it's another 40, 50.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So that's something we would pay part of the expense for to help with the.
I mean,
permitting?
that's something we could consider doing, sure. I mean, it's kind of protecting
Yeah,
the other stuff that's there. Next, I just wanted to remind people of the Turkey River Watershed Restoration and Management Plan presentation on Wednesday, August 25th at 5 p.m. via Zoom.
did you get the password for that? They sent out a,
Yes.
you got it.
They were gonna come to today's, but then since we didn't arrange a site walk and they're gonna do one at the planning board, there's a wetland conditional use permit that's part of site development of the 3A and impact code. They're gonna be setting something up through the planning board. I think they'll present on Thursday, and so I think they'll come before us next month.
With the wetland impacts.
And so, yeah, it's small, relatively small wetland impact and some buffer impact. I think the just due to the, or the placement of the wetlands. I did mention the granite update, and I think I went through and I did add up all the properties, and I think it totaled about 350 acres of additional conservation land that was needed for granite. Yeah, and a lot of it was not new. And actually, there were some things that I did not include because I couldn't, the open spaces didn't have the documentation and weren't able to admit it to me, so I didn't, but I mean, there are several, like the new ones was the property by Walker Forest, the Chadwick, the donations, that was 25 acres. Hamilton Court was 28 acres. Glen Court, which we did last year or something, or 2 years ago. That was about 25 acres between the homeowner piece that they were keeping and the piece they were giving to the town. A Stone Sled Farm, which, you know, had been there for a while, that the easement had been called out of the property. Yeah, there were a couple of easements that Go Open Spaces has that just were not on the map. There was one, I think it's 66 acres.
You have the total map of town? You have that drawing?
I did, I don't,
Here's what it
yeah,
is.
I don't. No, I did go through and said I added up the ones that I put together just to see how much it was. So that's good, and there may be more that wasn't included, but, you know, I got a good chunk of it added, and a lot of that came from the early review of the conservation lands, that was done kind of early in that process, so.
The amount of work. That's it.
Just a lot of cross checking.
Imagine.
Is this on the map? Is this not on the map? Is that in Granite? It's about GIS. I said I really needed the computer with like these screens. So I think. Yes, oh yeah. Oh, this is the ATCO, but the thing is, we're not gonna provide a comment till. So that's. I think that's it. Is there anything else? Anybody have anything else? Oh, I did. Well, this is just DOT permit for the culvert under I-89. When it was issued. And then, oh, that's right, and I got a, they needed a shoreland PDN also. I had gotten the permit, it was issued, the wetlands permit was issued July 16th, and then there was actually a shoreland permit by notification, who's there, close to the river.
It's the low bog. Where it goes under the.
No, this is I-89,
Oh, the-
I-89
yeah,
and
yeah.
93. Yeah. So I think that's about it. Anybody else have anything to do with the minutes, actually? Can you, get rid of the toolbar?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to,
Oh, on the far right, there's a,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to,
no, all the way, no, to the right, just move the, I'm sorry, I know you're at the side. Yeah, all the way on the right edge, there's a little, like a triangle,
yeah, oh, that one.
yeah, that makes, I think, yeah,
I just, okay,
good, thank you.
I just wanted to
Oh,
make
and
it
of course,
actually
you
to,
probably need to enlarge it a little bit.
yeah. Hmm. Better?
Yep.
Okay.
Better.
Line 22, I thought we might want to, see, he noted the levels of phosphorus chloride were all elevated. We're doing it elevated in a couple of the sampling.
Oh, at a couple
Yeah,
locations,
that kind of gives you the impression it was elevated everywhere.
okay.
Hang on, just kind of, that cursor is just not working. All right, so do we want to say we're elevated?
We're elevated at two of the locations. And you could spell them out.
No, I would,
We're, oh. Hmm,
yeah, just, yeah, remove, is the all crossed out? Oh, yeah, it is, sorry.
it's hard with that, I don't know where that thing came up, the black blinking cursor.
Right,
That's a new thing, but it might have to do with this enlargement, so
right.
I'll have to figure that out, so.
So I'd suggest, I know, Bob, this is when you had talked about the drainage ditch, so I just said to, you know, to discuss with the department, to improve the ditch on the north side of what.
You've got the trees.
Right, yeah. Move down a little bit. No, not that far. Little up. Yeah, okay, so as we get us, yeah, I put in proposed house locations. And just made it impact threshold where that required. Anything else on that page? Okay, then move to the next page. Oh, yeah, I just, where the yellow highlight, I just had put it in there because I was going to add in the assignments by tab. Or just put in the tab, but we can leave it out if you want.
Yeah.
Okay,
I would-
all right, at this
At
point,
this point,
okay,
yeah.
okay. All right, NRI, yeah, I basically said the consultant didn't respond. It was early, looking, no response. Contact me to clarify the remaining issues to do, and members will discuss this schedule of meeting, to present it. Robinson Road Trail that we just reviewed. I just wanted to mention, oh, propose, I spelled propose wrong.
Oh, yeah, it'll come up as highlighted once I accept the changes, so I'll fix that.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I think that's it. Yep.
Motion approved the minutes as corrected.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wendy, I.
Okay. Anything else?
I'll just say goodbye again.
Oh,
This
yeah.
this probably will be my last meeting.
That's a sad thing. Where are you at? No, where you? Are you still out west?
We're in Nampa. We're still out west in Nampa now, Nampa, Idaho.
Nampa, Idaho. Has the temperature gone down?
I know it's funny, it has not. It was close to 100 again today, but I just checked the weather and it looks like it's really going to cool off. I think on Wednesday, it's only going to be high in the 70s.
Wow. Yeah.
What's been really bad for the past few days has been the smoke, though. We've had air quality advisories since Friday. And I was sitting outside today, I don't know, not even for 10 minutes, and I had my laptop, and I looked down and it was just covered with soot from from the smoke.
Oh, my. Nice.
So it's supposed to get a little better later this week.
Well, thank you again, Wendy. We miss you. And I don't know whether you heard,
Yeah.
Mike is resigning because of family issues.
Oh, I couldn't, another problem with doing this remotely is now that not everybody's on Zoom, it's really hard for me to hear.
The mics, yeah, when I listened
Yeah.
to the recording, I noticed that too, yeah.
Oh, well, that's too bad. So now you got a couple vacancies to fill.
Yeah.
You'll be missed.
Thanks. We're coming home to visit actually in a couple weeks, a week from Thursday. Have a couple family things to go to, so that'll be nice. But then we're coming back.
Oh, you can help with the bio blitz.
I could come to the Bio Blitz, yeah.
Well, thanks again, Wendy.
Oh, you're welcome.
Take care. Actually, I had
No.
lunch today with two watershed people, with Andrea, who had been in watershed.
Yeah.
And then Tom, who's in your section, right? Your old section.
Well, Tom.
I
Oh,
forgot.
right. Right, no, you're right. Somehow I was thinking that he had left again, but no, he left and came back.
Right, that's right. So, yes, there's some section up there.
So I will be doing some work for DES though, through a contract. I talked to Steve Landry today and hope to get that signed within the next week or so.
Oh, cool. Well, good.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Well, great. Well, thank you, and we miss you, and hopefully
Yeah.
maybe catch you when you come back and forth or something.
Okay. Well, good luck with everything.
All right. Thank you, Wendy.
Bye, Wendy.
Take care.
Bye.
All right.
That's my turn.
Yes.